Welcome to episode 4 of Tent Talks, the mental camping podcast hosted by me, Ryan Hunter, aka the Yorkshire Lad Outdoors, on Instagram and YouTube. Go subscribe, follow, thumbs up, all that shit. This week, I was honoured to have my first guest on the podcast, and what a guest he was. Such great conversation. If you're into your bushcraft videos and you watch outdoor videos on YouTube, it'd be no stranger to you. This week I spoke with Craig from East Anglian Bushcraft, all about his love for the outdoors and a bit about mental health as well, in which he was kind enough to open up for a really great conversation. So I hope you enjoy this conversation as much as I did, and let's jump straight into it.
Awesome.
Yeah, thanks for coming on. First guest.
Thanks for having me on, man.
You're welcome, mate. It was one of the reasons I'm actually doing the podcast. I sent a few, I fancied doing one, and then I just sent a few messages out on Instagram one night after a few beers and just thinking, I wonder if anyone would come on. I sent one to you, one to Matt, as Ventures Made, and a few others, and everyone just came back and went, yeah, keen for it. So I was like, oh shit, we're doing this then. So there we are now. So, yeah.
Well, I feel privileged to be the first on then, dude.
No problem at all, mate. You're more than welcome. So how's the weekend been? You've been out another, was it three or 4 nights again you've been out for?
I've just been out for 4 nights. I got back yesterday. I just went to a local spot near me. It's just a 5-minute walk from the house. It's got a lovely little river down there and a nice old brick bridge. And there's a little ash wood down there. I went in a nice little nook in the corner of a field, just set the basher up. So I was out on my own. And then the next day I met my friend Ben. We went to another local Hazelwood, spent the night there. All the bluebells are out now. It looks beautiful.
Amazing.
And then we met up with a few more mates in a beechwood and then spent 2 nights there. It was a real bushcrafty, man. We were building loads of stuff. It was really cool.
Living the dream, mate. Can you see I got you on? This is as bushcrafty as I get. I've got my axe.
I like it, bro. Looks cool.
Against the wall. Yeah, my missus got me that for Christmas because I started to do some woodland camping. I've just got to learn it all though. I do all my camping in the hills and the mountains.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to challenge myself and do some stuff in the woods. But
it's fun, right?
It is fun, yeah. It's just a very different type of camp. And to be honest, mate, it fucking scares me a little bit in the woods.
Really?
Yeah. I don't mind being up on top of a hill, but
I'm scared of the dark. I'm scared of the woods. So together, I should be really scared. But do you know what, man? I'm the most unscared out there. Do you know what I mean?
Really?
It's like complete freedom, really, man. Like, honestly, nothing phases me. Nothing scares me out there. All the noises.
Yeah.
As long as you know, it's just a deer and the fox.
That's the thing, mate. I'd never heard a vixen scream before until I spent my first night alone in the woods.
Yeah.
That's going to wake you up.
Yeah, there was a lot of creepy noises if you let them creep you out.
Mate, and I was 17 stone trying to get out of a hammock, thinking someone's going to come at you. Should have seen it. If I'd have recorded that, that'd have gone viral, I reckon.
Oh, that sounds awesome.
But yeah, it's my mate Alistair, he does quite a bit of woodland camping, so we're going to keep trying to get me out in the woods and broaden my horizons a little bit. So
there's so much to learn, man, and this is the thing. This is why I think bushcraft keeps me so interested. You'll never learn it all. We could spend a lifetime learning this, and we wouldn't learn it all. So there's always something new to do.
Yeah,
it's something new on every camp.
Yeah, absolutely. It's incredible. I was camping on Tuesday night, talking about the bushcraft stuff, and with the mountain camps, I think like the hike up is the reward is the top. You get to the top, you set your tent up, and in 10 minutes you sat on your mat with a beer and stuff. And like with the woodland camps, like the hike, you got the hike in or however it is, then the setting up the camp itself is just, the time just flies by.
Yeah, it really does, especially in the winter as well, because when you've got to get your stock of wood in and you've got to split that down, because a lot of the time it's going to be wet in the winter, you spend most of your day splitting wood, and I think bushcraft camping, the reward is the fire for me. I think because I like to use all the natural materials and I like to properly light the fire, I guess. If you're a bushcraft purist and you're against lighters or whatever, I find it quite rewarding getting all my tinder ready and building that fire up, and that's my reward, I guess.
Yeah, so I saw you and I forget his name, Liam, were doing a double bow thing.
Bow drill, yeah.
That
was really cool, man. I've never done one of them before, so that was quite good.
I just find it. Do you not think it's mental? Like, who the first person who thought of doing that?
Yeah, and that's it, man. That's it. Like the ancestors, mate. Like they're smart people. We look at the technology we got now, but with the environment and the land and what they had around them, the things they could do and figure out was incredible.
Mad. Could you imagine just for the first time ever, just seeing your mate there with a piece of string pulling on a stick? You'd be like, what you doing, mate? Just don't know. See what happens.
Yeah, see what happens. I always think as well, especially with the foraging, like how many people had to die to figure out what mushrooms were good and what wasn't good.
I know. Bet they had some fun finding out then times. But yeah, we were out at the weekend. Me and my girlfriend lives up. In fact, she's from you're from Middlesbrough, right? Originally.
I'm a Middlesbrough fan. My family are kind of from Durham, really.
Right.
Sedgefield specifically. My dad's from Sedgefield. My mum's closer to Newcastle, but Durham is kind of, I've lived around Durham. So Middlesbrough is my dad's team. That's kind of why I took Middlesbrough.
Well, she's from she's from a village called Yarm, just outside Middlesbrough. So we went over to Whitby, and we were walking through the woods. There's a waterfall there. Again, there was all the wild edibles. You could smell the garlic and stuff, and I was like, I want to get a book on foraging because I'm like, I want to pick some of this up and eat it, but then I don't want to die. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's a bit.
There's a really, really good book, Wild Food UK. It's on Amazon. I can't remember the price, but I think that was the first book I bought foraging, and it's UK based, so which is quite handy for us or UK wild campers because you don't have to flick through other plants that are not here, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But the photos are crystal clear. And there's so much good stuff. I'll send you the link after this if you want.
Yeah, please do. Because I suppose it's not as risky, I'm guessing, as the fungus.
That's it. Yeah. I mean, there are a lot of just leaves or plants classed as like toxic that you wouldn't want to eat. It's definitely going to upset your stomach. But yeah, the mushrooms are the ones that are going to finish you off.
Yeah. So how long have you? So let's go kind of just back a bit. Really, I'm really interested. So on the podcast, I want to speak to kind of the people I watch on YouTube because that's how I got into camping really. So it was during lockdown, my head fucking melted. Yeah. I needed something else to do, and I started watching. I'm a photographer, so I was watching landscape photography stuff on YouTube, and then I saw someone who spent a night out in his tent while camping and I was like, I didn't really know that was a thing. So then, as you do with what YouTube does, it just sucks you in, doesn't it? And 7 hours later, I was in Go Outdoors. I had a tent, a sleeping bag in my bag, and I was on my way to the lakes. But I've never looked back, and it's honestly, it's my, without being dramatic, it's kind of my like therapy. It's my escape. Like when everything is going mental in the world, when there's so much external noise, because my job, I've got like a corporate job, as well as my photography stuff. Say that again, sorry.
Work in an office then?
Yeah. Well, I work from home now, but yeah, I work for a bank. Okay. So I've got that, and then got the photography stuff I do on the side, and then I've also got 2 kids, and then with the missus up north and stuff. So when life just gets a bit mental, all I have to do is just start walking up a hill with my bag on, and everything just goes quiet, and it's that escape from it. So I've only been doing it 2 years, but it's absolutely revolutionary. It's one of those things that I wish I'd have figured it out earlier in life. Do you know what I mean? But it's I'm glad I found it now, and I'm really excited to just keep learning, like you said. But I'd be interested to find out how kind of you got into it, really, mate.
So I mean, I joined the military at 16. Did a lot of fieldcraft exercises. I've been to Afghanistan a couple of times, and obviously within that, we did a lot of tarp camping. It's like one of the first things you learn on basic training, how to put up just a basic A-frame shelter or a lean-to tarp.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how I got most of my outdoor experience, and being comfortable, because I was a sniper, being comfortable at being uncomfortable, if you get me.
Yeah.
So camping, my first eyes opened into camping weren't really that great.
I can imagine.
And I actually like doing so much in the cold and like cold food. Obviously, you're not drinking ale, having fires and crafting, carving up cool stuff. Like you're there to do a job. So when I got out, I never actually thought about camping again until my friend who's still serving watched a YouTube video, kind of similar to you, I guess, but it was just a guy that had took his tarp out into the woods. And he was like, oh, come down, mate. Like, I'm going out on my own in the woods. And I was like, you're going out on your own in the woods? What are you doing that for? And he was just like, oh, I don't know, just saw some guy on YouTube do it. And obviously we do it all the time. So I want to be able to do it how I want to do it.
Yeah.
So I went with him. We had a couple of beers. It was awesome. We dug a fire pit and literally, mate, doing the exact same thing I would do as a job, but not having to be disciplined on your light, or you can play music, you can have hot food on the fire, you can drink beer and wine and do whatever you want. Like
and no
that was
shooting at you.
And I was like, this is what I want to be doing. And I've pretty much camped every week since then. And that was what, like 2.5 years ago, I think.
Mate, that's awesome. Because I see like your channel, which we'll come on to a bit. I mean, anyone listening or watching this, if you've not checked out Craig's channel, but yeah, by the way, this is Craig. We've referred to him as East Anglian Bushcraft so far, but his name's Craig. There's a name behind the logo. But your channel's just gone mental, hasn't it, mate? Like it's gone. Your subs have gone through the roof, and I was looking, obviously doing a bit of research. I mean, I've watched your videos, I think pretty much from the start, and it's kind of testament to, I suppose, the consistency that you put videos out at. I mean, and the amount you go out camping. But I would also kind of say that kind of the authenticity of your channel. I think you see some channels on YouTube that they go camping so they can make a video, and I think yours seems to be like, you know what, I'm going camping, I'm going to make a video, and there's no ulterior motive behind how many views is this going to get. It just gets, and you just get traction, and I think people buy into the channel. So I think that's why it's growing so fast, mate. So well done with that. It's a really good channel to watch.
Well, first off, thanks for that, man. But yeah, do you know what, mate? I think like a lot of things in this world, when it becomes a bit too like corporate, or there's so many people on YouTube chasing views and doing things that they know are going to do well rather than doing things they know they want to do.
Yeah.
So like for my channel, I know that most of my viewers prefer my solo videos, but I'm not going to bin my friends off and not camp with them just so I can go and get more views on YouTube. Like,
absolutely,
if I'm going camping with my mates, or it's a bit of a party one and less a bushcraft one, but I want to take my camera, I know that the video's probably not going to do well, but I don't care because I'm filming what I want to film.
Yeah.
And I'm filming what I'm doing. Like you say, I do keep it authentic. I try and keep it real because I don't really care about the views. I don't really care about the subs. Don't get me wrong. It's nice to see people watch your videos when you put so much work into it.
Yeah.
Because it takes a long time to film, especially for the style I've kind of slipped into now. It's a lot of short clips.
Yeah.
So I have to film a lot more. I come home with like 4 hours worth of footage of short clips just to get a 25-minute video.
Yeah.
And then to edit for 7 hours, 7 to 9 hours as well.
Yeah.
Like a lot of work goes into it. So it's nice to see people watching them, but it's not why I do it, you know?
No, it's the same way I started it, really. And I've had to like check in with myself a little bit at times because I literally started, in fact, I made a YouTube video for the first one I did because I knew that would make me go. Because I was umming and ahhing about doing it for the first time. It was outside my comfort zone. I was like, no, do you know what? Because I'm into photography and video and stuff, I like the creative part about it. So I went to do that. And then obviously I just kind of fell in love with the camping side. But my channel is like, it's minuscule. Like I'm just coming up to 1,000 subscribers. Yeah. But I found myself over the past weekend, really, like looking at the numbers and kind of checking in like, well, why am I doing it really? And the original thing was I wanted to do the videos so it's something that I could look back on and embarrass the kids with when they're older. Yeah. Like, do you know what I mean? If they're playing up in front of their mates, I'm just going to put the telly on and go, look at this. Thea's dad walks up mountains and talks to people on the internet on his own. So that's kind of why I did it. But it's hard when you, like you said, you put the effort in and then you find yourself, you get better at the edit. And then I start critiquing it. It takes me longer to do a video now because I'm like, I want to get it right.
Yeah.
And you put it online and I can't help but have people recognize the effort I've put in.
Yeah.
But at the same time, not wanting to kind of be egotistical and think, remember why you're doing it, mate. And it's hard at times.
It is. And there's a lot of, I've spoke about this with a few people that make YouTube videos, and you can get sucked into the YouTube trap. Really, that's what I think that's what people call it. Yeah. You know, you kind of, like you say, you over critique yourself. You become your worst critic, and like most people who watch my channel know, I like the question you asked me earlier about why did I start it. I didn't really go too much into it. That was my first experience of it. But I used that experience, and together with the mental health thing, it made me feel so good out there, just being in nature.
Yeah.
Just the simple things, man. Hearing the birds, the sound, seeing all the trees and that. It was so calming. And like you said about your first time, it just, everything goes quiet and you're just fully relaxed. So from that little taster, that's why I started, and that's why I carried on doing it just to feel good. I could come home with such a good energy, and it was noticeable with my partner. It was noticeable around my friends at work. The more I camp, the better a person I am, if you see what I'm saying.
No, absolutely.
So then for the videos to start picking up, I was the same as you. I started making it for myself. A lot of people started watching the videos. I still make them for myself, and I still go back and watch some of my older ones because that is why I originally made them, for me to look back on. So that is what I do. But you start thinking more about your edits, you start thinking more about the shots. And my style is kind of raw anyway. It's just stitched together clips. It's just a timeline of clips stitched together. I don't film B-roll and then go, well, I'll put this here, put that there. It is in order of what I filmed until the end. And that is what you see. And that's kind of the rawness of it. I try not to get into I watch so many people that I think their edit is insane. How are they doing that? Like, the quality is next level. One, I'm not that good with a camera. Two, I don't really have the time to put that much effort in. And three, I think there's actually a bit of a niche in that more raw style than over it and everything.
It's like I said, mate, it's the authenticity. I was saying this on Tuesday night when I was camping with my mate, that so many times you can. Do you watch many camping videos? Do you watch many channels?
I watch a lot less now than I used to because I do it so much.
Same. And the ones I watch now, I think, like I mentioned, obviously your channel with your personality. I know you watch Hayes Outdoors as well.
Yeah.
The thing is now with Hayes, I watch Hayes because it's him, and he makes me laugh, and I can watch him cycling around Whitby with his mate, or I can watch him going. I've never been fishing in my life. I could watch him fish for half an hour, but I buy into him, and it's his authenticity, and I'm like, we've got something in common. I think that's what you get with people. Actually, this bloke's like me. I could have a pint with him, but it ultimately becomes about the rawness of the personality, not how good someone is at editing. Because in fairness, if I want to watch cinematic films, I'll watch like Peter McKinnon or the Canadian YouTubers or the Americans who go big. But when it comes to the camping stuff, like, I think a lot of it is about inspiring people. And that sounds a bit big and but I think it is. A lot of people do take inspiration from them. And I think it's about, this person's like me, and look, they're going off and getting out of their comfort zone. And that's what people buy into. Yeah,
I'm the same, man. I'm the same with people are watching YouTube, and not even just camping. Like most people, I watch such a variety of things, but it is, and same with Hazy. I'd watch a 40-minute video of Hazy painting his living room because it's Hazy.
Yeah, mate, I follow. He's got an Instagram account when he takes pictures of gates, locks, and latches on it. And I find myself taking pictures of locks and tagging another man I've never met in the world on Instagram. And like,
this is the thing though, the community as well within, because I've been into a lot of things. I've been into like the Land Rover thing, motorbikes. I've done so many different things. I've been into extreme sports all my life, and the wild camping / bushcraft community are some of the nicest people I've ever met. And there really is communities on Instagram, everyone tagging each other, and that people you've never met, like you say, and you can kind of make all these online buddies. As not a lot, most people in the wild camping world aren't very judgmental, which I found, which is really cool. Don't get me wrong, there are snobs like in every walk of life, especially kit snobs. I mean, I started my channel with like what I had. You know, that's kind of what people liked as well. It was just what I had. And this is another thing, like getting sent stuff and doing promo and stuff like that. I really try and keep that to like a bare minimum, because I don't want to be like every other camping YouTuber that just makes review videos of like a bag. I'm not interested in that at all. I don't mind talking about bits of kit because that's part of what we do. It's part of the interest. Some people are mad for kit. You know, I'd be happy with anything. It's just when you've got a passion, you tend to spend a bit more money on things, and it's what you do.
Yeah.
But to start off with, and anybody watching, I urge you, if you haven't got any camping gear, You don't need all the top brand, most expensive, best stuff. You can go out there with a pan you've got in your kitchen, a sleeping bag you've probably got in the garage somewhere. You know, you don't really need a lot to do this. It's more about the nature and the experience rather than the kit you're taking out there. And everybody starts somewhere, and you can just build on it over time. That's basically what I've done.
Was that absolutely? I mean, I'm going through a phase at the minute where I'm kind of just buying stuff left, right, and center, and like trying to go like get lighter stuff for the hiking. But again, it's when I did my first camp, I bought a tent that was like, it was like weighed nearly 4 kilograms. The bag was just a cheap one. The sleeping mat was just like full of cold air. Like, but on the conditions I got for my first camp, like it wouldn't have mattered if I'd have had 10 grand's worth of kit. Yeah. Or I said this before, like you can have all the best kit in the world. If you get the conditions right and you're in the woods or you're on top of a hill and you're getting the sunset and you're with your mates, it's just an absolute leveler. It's a great leveler because it doesn't matter if you've got 10 million quid in the bank or a pound. You're all getting the same experience. Some people might be sleeping on a comfier sleeping mat, but a lot of the time I'm guilty of it, and I don't want to shy away from it. I get sucked into like, do I need that? And it's like a bit like consumerism that gets into it. And I keep having to tell myself and like strip myself back of what the raw reason is I do this, and it is for my head, and it's to clear my head, and that's why I do it. So, but
yeah, like most communities, I guess there's kind of fashions, isn't there, within the communities?
Yeah,
there are like this fashionable kit, and it depends on the type of camping you're doing as well, because like mountain and hill camping is very different to bushcraft camping in the woods and stuff. And really, within bushcraft, less is more, or less can be more.
Yeah,
all you really need is a cutting tool, a knife, a saw, an axe. And you don't even need these things. You can do most things with a knife or an axe. And you start using your head a lot more. And what you don't have, you can build, or you come up with. It's really creative. That's another thing I really like about specifically doing the bushcraft stuff. You're not just out there camping. You can get really creative, and the things you can make, and like there's things you can do. You learn your tools. You get better with your tools. Things become a lot more clean, and like anything, I suppose, practice, you get a lot better at it and things look better. But that's why I like the woodland stuff so much, is you can just get so creative and it becomes less about the kit. There's a lot of times I go camping, I pack certain bits of kit and they don't even come out my bag because I'm just using the tools and I'm like getting sucked into other things. And like we say, time goes so quickly out there.
Yeah.
You think, oh, well, I didn't use that, or I didn't even need this. But my kit's constantly changing. I'm quite lucky. I've got like a variety now. I can kind of pick and choose what I want for different kits.
Yeah.
Again, that's where I got sucked in as well a little bit, I guess, because I wanted to keep it fresh for people on the channel as well. It's like, well, everything that's in my bag. Do I tell you every video? Or, oh, I've got this teapot this time instead of this billy can. It's like, but really, you don't need all this stuff. You don't need a lot.
No, you don't. And I think it's a really key message for when you're starting out, that you don't need it. And you never need it, like, even though when you've been 100 times, you don't need it. But I think you want to, I suppose, like with the tarp stuff, I'm learning just basic tarp setups. But I know, like, I've seen you and Ben do some fucking mental stuff, like replicating the opera house and stuff with a tarp. But then I know, like, so like you get the latest, the DD tarps, and that you can put into different configurations and stuff, and it helps test yourself. So you're using your kit to kind of push yourself on a little bit more and test yourself.
Yeah.
But yeah, it does get, but it's like anything. People spend money on clothes and whatever. I'm going on holiday next week with the lads, right? Yeah. I was like, what am I going to pack? And I'm looking, I'm like, I can't go. We're going to the south of France, right? I'm like, I can't go around Monaco in a rab coat. Do you know what I mean? Like all I do is buy like camping stuff. I'm like, I need some actual clothes, because I go out, I work from home now, so I wear like trackies and a hoodie all day, and then all I've got is like my hiking gear. So I need some proper clothes now.
Oh yeah, I'm that sort of dude. I've got like 2 pairs of jeans on rotation and like 4 t-shirts, and like my wardrobe's empty. My missus has got like 4 full wardrobes, and I've got a skinny little one at the end, and I just cycle it. I'm a proper like, I don't know, man. The clothes don't interest me, bro.
No. I haven't bought, like, I've got some trainers that came through today because I need them for next week, but I generally need to go out and refresh because all I've bought for the last 2 years is camping stuff.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's another thing. You'll end up with loads of camping gear that you'd never ever use because you'll end up figuring out which one you like the best or what works for you, and then you won't bother with the other stuff.
Exactly.
But as well, the more you learn, the more you start titivating your kit because you think, oh, well, I could do that with that, or I don't need that because I can do it like this. And,
yeah,
I started off, I think, like sacking off tent pegs and just making them when I go out there, or I don't know. We could go on about this forever, but you're just constantly finding ways to evolve the kit for you. And that's another thing. Rather than following like a trend or who else is doing what, that's good as like a base level. But it's such a personal thing, camping, how you want to set your kit out and what you want to take, not what someone on YouTube's got because they've got it. Like, it's nice to see this stuff and then make your own mind up, but don't just go get it because someone else has got it. You've got to think about what you actually want to use.
Exactly, and how you're going to use it. Yeah. So like I said, it's what I do to clear my head. I know it's weird having a conversation with someone when you've watched them. Like you feel like you know quite a bit about them because weirdly people seem to. I open up on camera to people I've never met. Yeah, sometimes I can be quite a closed book with other people. And I watched your kind of shows your steak challenge, and I know kind of you spoke quite vividly about kind of mental health and from the military and stuff. And I know sadly, like tragically, you lost a friend that I won't pry into that or go into that, but I know that kind of that was quite close to your heart, the mental health stuff, and it's just what camping does for that, what the kind of the bushcraft world does for you in that sense, really.
Yeah, like going out to the woods, going camping anywhere. I think there's nothing when you're camping, there's nothing on your agenda. So that instantly can clear the mind anyway, even if you don't have any mental health issues, just to be out somewhere where there's nothing you have to get done. You can relax straight away. But yeah, just the nature thing, really getting in touch with, it's this heightening of the senses for me, like the smells of nature, just looking around, it's exciting. You're hearing the wind, hearing all the birds, everything like that. That really calms me and puts me in a kind of headspace where all of the grey or all of the bad things up there kind of just get put at bay for a little while and they kind of get left outside the woods, and it's only good vibes when I'm camping. Some people I think might not like that. It might not be good for people to sit around the campfire on their own with their own thoughts, but for me, that's like a really, not a safe space to do it, but a place where I'm there and I can unwind. And if I do want to think about things, the bad things, that's a place that I find safe to do so.
Yeah, I completely agree. We went back to before, we were talking about things go quiet, and I don't just mean the silence of being outside. I just think all the other shit that's going on all goes quiet, and I've got no choice but to listen to myself at times. And like you said, sometimes it's quite hard to do. And I think that's what a lot of people struggle with because they just keep putting it off and they'll do something else. But at some point in your life, you have to take stock of it. I think you have to listen to yourself and just go, right, I've either got to face into this or shit's just going to get worse and worse. So now I've been doing this for quite a while. I'm kind of in tune now and I know different triggers and I feel like I'm in a place where I can manage my mental health. But that's what I think at some point it's not nice to do, but you kind of have to listen. And to your point, when you said everything goes kind of when it's quiet in the woods, when I'm in the hills, I get this feeling of like almost insignificance. Like you look up and there's just like mountains all around, there's billions of stars, and there's me there in a little bit of canvas. I'm like, fucking hell. Like it puts things into perspective for me. That's like in this cosmos, whatever we're in, like I'm so insignificant. I'm here for like, ends in 10 minutes. I'm here for 90 years if I'm lucky. Out of billions of years of this. I'm like, stop stressing about what someone might think, or stop worrying about just little judgmental stuff that goes on in my head at times. And I'm like, what on earth are you doing? Like, when I'm gone, all this stuff will still keep going. And it just is a massive leveler. You just kind of puts things hugely in perspective for me.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with you, mate, as well. What I was thinking as well, for me, like realising that you have an issue or realising that you've got things going on in your head that probably aren't normal was actually the hardest thing for me to deal with. I think once you can face up to it, and once you can actually seek help or speak to someone about it, that's the hardest bit done then. Because like you said, being able to manage it, I manage it by going out into the woods. If I've had a stressful week or things are building up inside my head and I'm going back to a dark place for whatever reason, I know that if I can go out, my way of managing it is by going out to the woods and letting all of the fuzz kind of leave the mind, coming home fresh, good to go for the next week.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I really struggled. I kind of put it off for a long while. I didn't think I had a problem. I thought it was everybody else in the world was an issue, and that it wasn't me. It was everyone else, you know. So it took a long time for me to realise it was me. That's kind of what I'm saying by realising that it's you and not everyone else. That was the hardest thing. Yeah. And then to kind of step up to that and actually go and deal with it, it just takes so much weight off your shoulders. For a start, the dealing with it on a week-to-week basis is so much easier than the initial. Well, I've got a problem here. For me, anyway.
I hugely think it is. I think certain things. I mean, with me, I had to kind of strip myself bare, not in a physical way, but like certain things. I think I used to get wound up about, and like I've gone through stuff in my past. Like I lost my daughter, so my first daughter, she passed away. And I kind of just parked that. And I was like, it doesn't, like everyone else around, I would try and make everyone else okay. So my wife at the time, I was like, I've got to make sure that she's okay and make sure my mum's okay and all this sort of stuff. Yeah. And then at some point that catches up to you. And it's like, you've got to deal with that. You've got to face into it. And I became quite selfish, really. I went off and did my own thing a lot of the time. Like I used to got really into the gym, which is the fittest I've ever been. I'm not into it anymore, you can probably tell. But all those sort of things. And I got very defensive if people said I was selfish, or I get very defensive if people said this. And it's only because I probably knew it about myself, but I didn't. I felt like I was being attacked. But I think once you face into it and you kind of own these things, I was like, if someone says to me, you're selfish, I'm going, yeah, I am. I'm selfish, but I'm working on it. And I'm selfish and I do this because it's for me. And it no longer becomes a thing that I dwell on, because I'm like, yeah, I know that. So you're not telling me anything about myself I don't know. And it's the same stuff with the mental health. And when you put a label on things, it's like, yeah, that's fine. I can deal with that now. It's not the unknown anymore.
Yeah.
And that's a huge thing for me in managing my mental health. And that's why I would encourage anyone, especially blokes, that go talk about it. It's like, it's not a weakness. You don't think twice about going to see the dentist if your teeth are hurting. You don't think twice about going to the barbers when you might. Bad example, shit example. But yeah, but we do, people think, oh, I'm not going to see a quack or whatever. And it's just like, the Americans kind of get it right. It's part of their medical thing. They go for checkups and stuff. And I just think it's a thing that we should all do, really.
Yeah, that would be good. But I'm exactly the same, mate. You know, me and my missus kind of had a little patch where, because I started camping and I started going a lot, and you know, there was a little bit of friction at first, but I think because she could see the positive impact it was having on me at home, it kind of became all right. It just had to have that chat of like, look, this is helping me massively mentally. Obviously you can see it at home, but there's, you know, little things. I can look back now at things I was doing and I would think about them completely different now. So like, I suppose being from a military background, if you're going out on patrol and you've got to pack your kit, say, I don't know, an example, we use like a night scope, and we're going out on patrol, and you've told me that you've put that in my kit on such and such a pocket, and then, I don't know, we get into a situation where I might need that very quickly and it's not there.
Yeah.
You know, coming back home, even like a year after, if my missus would come back from, say, Tesco with a bag of shopping, and she'd put the bag of sugar in a different cupboard to where she'd normally put it, I'd just flip it. I'd swear, I'd be like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, that don't go there. You know it don't go there. It's never gone there. So why do you think you're going to put it there now? Do you know what I mean? Things like that. And I become very snappy, very kind of aggressive. I was never physical. I've never been physically aggressive, but I became very snappy and just a bit of a an horrible person to be around. And that brushed on to like colleagues at work. I was just like snapping at them for no reason. I was just like popping at everyone. I was like arguing with managers. A lot of the time, I probably knew most of these people were right. I just wanted to stir stuff up. I just wanted a reaction.
That's it,
had so much anger and at the world, and I blamed everybody else. And that's the thing about mental health. You do become very selfish. You get wrapped up in your own world, and you blame everybody else because you become selfish, because you've got stuff going on in your head. So that is definitely a part of it.
It is. Do you find yourself more, I certainly do, more empathetic with people? Like before, if someone's being a dickhead, I'd be like, you're being a dickhead. I don't like you. I think you're always going to be a dickhead. I don't want anything to do with you. Whereas now I'm like, you're being a dickhead, but there's probably a reason why you're being a dickhead. And you might not know it yourself, but almost kind of dig into people a little bit more, where you just think, I was like that at one point. So there's a reason. Everyone does stuff for a reason. And I think there's a good book, I think you read it, called The Chimp Paradox, about how our brain works. And we've got like a human part of our brain, which is actually the rational stuff. Then we've got a chimp, which is like the one that's just works on emotion, doesn't work on fact or anything. It just works purely off feeling and emotion. And you say something, like you snap about the sugar, and you probably go off into the other room and think, why have I done that? Why did I snap about some sugar? But I'm not going to go say sorry now because it makes me look weak. So I'm just going to, and I think I empathize now when I think if people don't know they're struggling as much as they are, then there's probably a reason why they're acting out.
Definitely. I was exactly the same. I always told everyone I was a people hater. Probably when I had like my bad mental health episodes and stuff. But now, like we're out here, I made this community camp thing. We're going to host a few more. We've got another one coming up. And like, from someone that claims to be a people hater to now trying to bring people together and communities together and non-judgmental people. And, I'm like a people lover now. It's completely turned on its head. Like you say, it definitely makes you more empathetic. It definitely makes you think about other people. And dealing with mental health, it stops that selfishness. You definitely become less selfless.
Absolutely.
But specifically the camping, like that, I found nothing. I've done illegal things to try and get rid of some pain. I've gone down the boozer all the time. I've done so much stuff, and nothing hits the spot like going out on a camp.
No. I suppose we can move on to a bit more light-hearted topic. But, thanks. Thank you, mate, for sharing that. Because I know, I think that'll help a lot of people, especially. That's the other thing. Just to mention with that blowing smoke up your ass is because now the number of people that are following, it's almost I think a lot of people resonate with that now because it's weird. Like people are not TV stars, but like when you watch someone day in day out, like it's nice. It's nice to actually have a chat with you and actually see, it's the same person as it is who's on the camera. But then I think people do take inspiration from the videos they watch. So I think that'll really help a lot of people with that. And I just want you to kind of a bit of a plug as well, I suppose, for your the community camps that you've set up. I know you did one last year and you've done another one. It's coming up this time. If we could talk about that, and then just before you go as well, if you just quickly tell us about your walk that you did for homeless veterans, because that was mate. So do you want to tell us about the community camp?
So when the channel started picking up a little bit, I get loads of like emails and messages on Instagram of people just asking if I'll go camping with them and stuff. And because I kind of started solo camping to clear my head.
Yeah.
Firstly, I don't really want to go camping with somebody I've never met before. Two, I'll camp with you, bro. We've had a chat now.
No, mate, I'm pointing to the axe. You don't want to go camp someone you've never met before. They're coming into a woods with an axe.
So I do a lot of solo camping, and then if I'm not solo camping, I'm with my mates, or like people I've chatted to for quite a while. So I thought these people are putting their time into watching my videos and stuff. I do like chatting to everyone. That's why I try and reply to all the comments and stuff, because I like building this community and stuff. And I thought, what can we do? So I thought I'd host a little community camp. I just put a post up asking if anyone had any land. I basically just said, here's the land, here's the time and date. I had to cap it at a number of people, but basically, let's come together. It doesn't matter if you've never camped before or you're a bushcraft school teacher, I don't know. But yeah, so it just brought loads of people together, which was really cool. It started like a little kind of community on Instagram of people all tagging each other and stuff. And then I thought, well, we've got to do another one now. So we've got one coming up at the end of May, I think. I don't actually know the exact dates on me. But it's at a ranch. It's like a cowboy ranch in Kent.
I saw the video, yeah.
Honestly, it's like playing Red Dead Redemption, but in real life. So it's like 22 acres, but this time a guy called Alex is hosting it. It's his land, and he wants to basically turn that into like a yearly thing that he does. So we're getting like loads of ale kegs down. We're having some music on. There's going to be some workshops like carving, some mushroom talks and foraging and stuff like that.
Bit like a mini bushcraft show almost.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. So again, it's like I put it out to all the subscribers and stuff. I don't want the community camps to end up like a bushcraft show. I don't want trade stalls. I just want what the first one was, which is bringing people together with nothing. I want it to be as close to a wild camp as possible.
Yeah.
This one is going to be cool because there is all this stuff going on, and there is going to be some cool people down there. I think the State Detectives come in, York Knives come in, a few other people, a few YouTubers and stuff. So that's going to be good. And then I think I'm going to host one in Wales, one in Scarborough, one in Scotland. But I'm just dealing with each one at a time. My admin brain couldn't deal with like all 5 of them with the emails coming back and forward.
Yeah.
Because life's just so busy, man. You know how busy life is.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm really excited for it. So stoked for that.
Oh, awesome, mate.
If I send you the links, maybe you could put the links down. If people want to check
absolutely,
it out.
mate. I'll put the links in there. So this goes out on YouTube. And it'll also go out on Spotify as well. So I'll put the links in the kind of the show notes. I mean, for the 15 people on Spotify who listen, don't forget to click on the link.
Oh, you might have like 5 more now with my missus and her family.
There you go. Yeah, share it with your friends. And then, have you got any more? Because it's all bushcrafty stuff that you do. But I saw the hiking video you did around. I'm keen on doing the coast to coast. I've watched loads of videos on that. So I live up in Huddersfield. So I want to do the coast to coast that goes through the lakes. And I know you did the walk around. Was it the Norfolk coast?
I did. I walked the full length of East Anglia. So I started at the most northern point of Norfolk, called Blakeney Point, and I walked right through the middle of East Anglia all the way down to Southend in Essex. I think it was about 127 miles or something.
Amazing.
Did it in 7 days, but the idea behind it was to raise money for homeless veterans.
Yeah.
Because I'm a veteran, and I think charity starts at home, and it's just a cause I really believe in. You know, mental health, and I don't think any veteran that served the country should be homeless. I found a charity.
On that would take us. We got another hour talking about that, mate. But yeah, completely.
I found a charity called Helping Homeless Veterans UK. I think I raised about $5,000, and
incredible.
It's basically helping some veterans get off the street, which is really cool. I'm probably going to look to do a charity event every year now.
Yeah.
Which is again is something else. Mental health. When you're deep into bad mental health, doing a charity event is the last thing that you would ever think of doing.
Yeah.
And so to be motivated through camping and people that I claim to not like in the first place, to have so much positive energy and feedback from people, it's motivated me so much to keep going with the channel, to keep making videos. Because if I wasn't making videos, I'd still be camping every week.
Yeah.
This is what we're saying about, I don't just do YouTube to make the videos, like I'm camping every week regardless.
Yeah.
So I'll probably look to do a charity event a year, maybe mental health based or veteran based each year. Yeah.
That's amazing, mate. Is the link still, is it Just Giving link still open?
It's closed now. It's closed now. Yeah. And they've got all the money now, which is cool.
What was the charity called?
Helping Homeless Veterans UK.
Helping Homeless Veterans. So I suppose if you want to donate to this and Craig's link's not available, you still go on the website. I'll put the link in the description below if anyone wants to go and throw some money their way, because it's no one needs to know that it's
a great cause.
It's extremely sad, and it's a great cause. Listen, mate, thoroughly enjoyed that. Thank you for coming on. I think we've spoke for about an hour. I think we'll probably speak for about an hour more, but conscious you need to get back and get the kitchen doors finished. But if you're ever up, if you're ever up Yorkshire way or I'm down East Anglia way, make sure you drop me a note and we'll get out for a camp. As I say, anyone listening, go check out Craig's channel, East Anglian Bushcraft. You're also on Instagram as well. Any other channels? You on TikTok yet?
Just the one, just Insta and YouTube.
Insta and YouTube. Go check him out. Give him some love. And I'll see you all in the next one.